Hey guys, Christina Marie here, and a couple of things before we get started. I've had on the same shirt since yesterday. I didn't plan on filming this video. My hair is on a little crooked, so I just put a hat on top. I have mascara on this eye only, not this eye, because there was a lash on this eye that just kept going on a little gangster lean, so I just kind of gave it a little push back up, but didn't really feel like putting it on this side because I'm going to wipe it off when I go to bed anyway. And I have some things to say. So I decided, despite the fact that I look like a trash pile today, I am going to film this video because it's been literally 2 weeks since I've filmed anything. I'm pretty sure this is different hair. I don't recall having this hair during my Diversithon video that I filmed 2 weeks ago. You let me know, or I can stop being lazy and just check myself. Either way, I have things to talk about. A lot has happened since I have filmed that Diversithon video, and I just would like to talk about some things and what the hell we're gonna do. So there are a lot of things to talk about. The most obvious one is going to be that we have decided to elect a bigot into office, but you know what? America, right? I will say it took me a solid week to fully process the sadness part of it. I was with Hillary. I still am with Hillary. I was with Bernie too. I was with anyone who even aligned with my ideologies, with my ideas enough to where I felt they could be a benefit to the majority of the country. And I felt Hillary or Bernie could have done that. Eventually, I connected more with Hillary. But that's neither here nor there. Either way, Trump wasn't my guy. He's still not my guy. So it took me about a week to process the sadness part of it. You know, the stages of grief: denial, sadness, anger, acceptance, something. I don't know. I don't even know if that's the order. But I was in the sadness part. I didn't deny it because it was on my screen. So but I did go to bed in a very uncomfortable state. Woke up the next morning, had to go to work, and it was the hardest thing I had ever done in quite a while. I live in Kansas. Kansas is a red state. I was surrounded, and I still am surrounded by Trump supporters. And it made me really uncomfortable and really uneasy because immediately the next day you start reading and hearing about all these people just deciding white supremacy has won. And so if you are not white and if you are not a man, screw you, you know. And so that made me really nervous and scared and sad and angry and all of the above. So I took the past 7 days to really process. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, you know I was running my mouth as per usual. But I think I've gotten past the sadness point of it, and now I'm at the point of, okay, what next? This particular video is not about what we're going to do in regards to politics or anything. This is me talking about how I, as a booktuber, as someone with a social media presence, can help spread love, empower people, continue being an activist, continue being a voice for people that, quite frankly, may be losing their voice now that Trump has been placed in office. There have been suicides that have happened, several within the past few weeks. There are protests in the streets. There are so many hate crimes being reported, over 200 last I checked. I know it's increased since then. All these things are happening. So me, as an individual within this country, what can I be doing? What conversations can I be having? What concepts can I be, sharing to spark dialogue and thought? And I was like, duh, Christina, continue doing what you do best, which is discuss, which is present content, which is make people think, offer book recommendations, talk about books. Hello, Diversithon is back in January. This is going to be a huge moment for us to show up, for Diversathon. And no, I'm not saying it because it's a baby of mine. It's my brainchild. But I'm saying it because this is clear evidence that we as a country still do this whole othering thing. We still label people outsiders or exclude people, and it's always been that way. People of color, women of color, marginalized people, First Nations people, LGBTQ people, we all have witnessed what a majority of white America is finally witnessing for a long time. We've known about this. We've experienced it all of our freaking lives. But now we've elected a person that embodies that. He's surrounding himself with people who embody that. And it's scary. It really is scary. I am not one of those people that is going to tell you to get over it. Let's hope for the best. Let's move on. It's all about love. Let's love one another and come together. Shush. Shush. If you've ever said that to anyone, go apologize. Because what you just did was demean everything that they're experiencing, everything that they're going through. You've just invalidated all of their feelings and their experiences with your let's all kumbaya together. No. It's too late for that. What we need to do right now is arm ourselves with knowledge, with support. If you are someone who benefits from Trump's election, i.e. white people, straight white people, men and women, be real. Let's be real. Then you need to make a decision. If you are going to be the person that stands by and allows the thought that you are someone who supports a racist, a bigot, a sexist, allowing them in office, are you going to be that person to continue that's going to support them? Are you going to be a voice for people that, quite frankly, are going to be harmed by his administration? That's a decision that you need to make, and I'm not about to spend time trying to convince you to make it, because that's not my beef, that's not my problem. No shade, no tea. I have to worry about myself. Now, with that being said, I feel as a country we are in a place where things are gonna go to hell. And it's up to us from the grassroots, from the ground, local government, state government, it's up to us, the people, to really come together and start fighting, because we're not going to get it from the administration. I am in a place where I'm still learning about what I can do. I'm researching organizations. I am a person that likes to put I don't want to just say put my money where my mouth is, but yes, donate, but I also want to actively be involved. Simply because if I'm active in it, I understand it better. I have more of an emotional investment in it. I want to be a part of making the change, of being the resistance to Donald Trump and his message of hate and inequality and all the nastiness that this country was founded upon. It's just being brought to the forefront, and it sucks. And sucks is not even the right word, but it's the word I have for you right now. But yeah, so those are my thoughts right now. They're still jumbled, but that's what it is. Moving on. Twitter has been lit up lately, not just with Trump stuff, but with book stuff too. Authors have been showing their whole asses, publishing companies, bloggers, booktubers, you name it. People have been just coming out the woodworks and just showing a side of themselves that, quite frankly, while I'm not surprised, it has surprised a lot of people. I've gotten to the point where nothing surprises me anymore, people. I think the worst of everything. Yes, I'm a cynic. It's such a sad, sad state, but it's really hard to remain hopeful when things like police brutality and racism and sexism and all kinds of inequalities and the way that First Nations people are being treated, LGBTQ people are being treated, when it's constantly being thrown in your face and no one is doing anything about it. You're you're expected to clean up the mess that you didn't create. So it's a little rough out here in these streets right now. So I'm a little cynical. But with that being said, yeah, so the book world is on fire right now because people just showing their whole ass. And what I mean by that is authors are saying things or not owning up to things. Media sources, certain magazines are saying things and not owning up to things or aren't open to growing. And if you're not open to growing in a society that is constantly changing, you are in for a rough existence. Like, I feel like the book world is so big. It's made of so many different people, and books represent so many different kinds of people, that if you don't have the humility to be able to admit that you need to grow and learn, you're going to fizzle out and die really quickly within this industry. It's not... It doesn't behoove you. It doesn't benefit anyone to just be stagnant, to not grow. You want to grow and change as the industry and society grows and changes. It's that simple. But there's been a lot of, backlash with people being overly critical or hypercritical of various books or articles or organizations or whatnot. But given the state and time of, the life we live right now, we need to be critical. We need to make sure that the content that's being published represents the people that it's talking about. And I will be the first to say that when I started blogging and when I started booktubing, I was not that way. If I saw a book that had a cute cover, I just read it and I was like, oh, this is cute. It's fluffy. I love it. 5 stars, But I started blogging when I was 24, 25. I'm almost 30. A lot has happened in those 5 years. And I've learned a lot. And I'm a growing individual. I am constantly wanting to learn and be better. And so here's my thing when it comes to books. I tweeted this. I respect what it takes to make a book. I respect the brainstorming, the drafting, the writing. I respect the whole process of physically making a book. I respect the emotions behind it. I respect all of that. But I do not have to respect what is in the book once it is in my hands and once I read it and digest it for myself. I don't have to like what somebody writes. I don't have to. You don't have to like what somebody writes, but you can respect that author as an individual. You can respect the process that it took to get from thought to page. But the content of what's on that page, that's fully up to me to determine whether or not I receive it, And I feel like some authors get a little butthurt about that. And that's fine, but it's my coin that I'm spending on your thoughts that are now on a page that I own because of my coin. And I can choose whether or not I like something or don't like something. If I'm offended by something, then I can express that through a review that is either going to be in your favor or not in your favor. Process it and move on. That's kind of how it works when you put your intellectual property out there for the world to consume, So I was talking to a few people on Twitter. Sam from Thoughts on Tomes is one of them. Hey, Sam. And it sparked a lot of thought up here. So this is actually going to be a really rambly video. I'm sorry, because this is all of my Twitter thoughts in this video. Sam got me thinking about how useful negative reviews are. And it made me think about my own personal blogging career, because when I first started blogging, I never wrote reviews for anything that was lower than 3 stars. Ever, because I considered it to be harmful to the author, or I considered it to be book bashing. And when I first started blogging, I didn't really have a team of people. I didn't have any real support. I surrounded myself with people that weren't necessarily the best for me, and I just didn't have my own voice. And so a lot of my reviews are terribly, 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 terribly bad. They're unhelpful. And unhelpful reviews can be harmful to the book industry or to the reader who is determining whether or not they want to read a certain book based off of something I said. My reviews were really bad. They had no substance. They were full on just emotional. Oh my God, I love this. Oh my gosh, it's Bay. Oh my gosh, he's my best. He's my favorite book boyfriend. Oh my gosh. That was me. And while I still have book boyfriends, I'm not gonna ever give that up. I just realized, I'm like, if you meet me on a daily basis, like if you meet me in person, like that is not how I really am, but that's how I felt like I needed to be in order to get my voice out there, because that's how the culture was. Book blogging, when I was introduced to it, was very surface level. Now, that's not to say that was actually the case. That's just the segment of book blogging that I was introduced to. A lot of it was about memes and, oh my gosh, this is the best book ever because they're my OTP, and I don't know where this voice is coming from. And oh my gosh, and da-da-da. You know, that's just all I saw. So I was like, I need to do that to be successful, or I need to do that. That is the proper way to review a book. And I did that for a while. I never really got to the meme book reviews. I never did that because I just didn't like memes in book reviews. But my book reviews were very surface level. They were very simple. There was really nothing to learn with how I wrote things and why I wrote things. I did what I thought was the norm, and I got bored with it. I got bored with it 3 years after I started, but I finally got bored with it because I realized it wasn't life-giving to me. And then I also realized that I had my means of communicating my thoughts on books weren't meant to be through written word. I was meant to do this. Mainly because I feel like I have a stronger connection through video, and also my facial expressions are the most honest thing about me. So you can tell right away if I don't like something, and I like that. I like to have that connection. I don't really do many book reviews on here, and if I do, you know, I try to make them extensive, but sometimes I fall short. I don't know. But I felt like I needed to do something different. So I'm not blogging as much as I used to. I'm in the process of trying to decide my year contract with my blog web hosting thing expires in February or March. And so I'm in the process of figuring out whether I want to let that go or turn it into something else. I don't know. But, yeah, I realized I was being unhelpful with my reviews. And Sam even was talking about some of her favorite reviews, or the best reviews, are the 3 stars and the 1 stars, because you get the whole picture of a book. You get the entire experience. 3-star reviews will give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, you get that holistic perspective. I realized that that is a perspective that I was not able to provide for my readers. That was a perspective that I, quite frankly, enjoyed getting when I read reviews. And so, there's nothing wrong with 3 to 1-star reviews. They're actually very, very helpful. And I feel like that ties into what I want to talk about in a second with regards to how we review books. But I feel like we need to really start knowing and understanding that just because something is rated 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star, that doesn't mean it's not a helpful thing. It's very helpful to have all those perspectives, because you want to you want to make a complete decision as to whether or not you want to read a certain book. You want to know what you're in for without being told what you're in for, you know? So there's that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about stems from also reviewing books and just being hypercritical or more critical of books. I tweeted today that 2016 was the year that I decided I no longer have favorite authors. Let me explain what that means. This year has been a year of a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, not just within the book world, but all around. People who have been idolized have come out saying things that were controversial or just straight out racist or sexist or whatever. Authors that have been held to this high esteem and this high regard have done and said things. And people come out and are shocked that this person said this and this person, oh no, I love their movie. Why would they say that? I love the books that they wrote. Why would they say that? I can no longer see this author, this athlete, this actor the same way again. And I'm like, this is why we shouldn't have favorites. When we have favorites, our blinders, typically they go straight up. They become concrete pieces of whatever and they just sit right here. We don't see anything beyond those blinders. Now, not all people, most people. When somebody is your favorite, it's very hard to authentically and honestly critique their work. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be because this is an author that you respect and admire. You should want them to do better, be better all the time. So you should be open to critiquing, and letting them know that's when you know you messed up, You should be able to share that information and not feel like you're betraying them or not water down the critique that you have because they're my favorite. I don't want them mad at me. They're my favorite. They can't do any wrong, but this might be a little wrong, but I don't really want to tell them why it's actually really, really wrong. So I'm going to water it down so I don't have to say they're no longer my favorite, things like that. When we start to put those kinds of boundaries up for ourselves, it's that whole being unhelpful thing, When you're being unhelpful, stop being unhelpful. And that's what I had to learn. So I've stopped categorizing people as my favorite. I stopped using that word because I don't quite think we are all capable of critiquing fairly, openly, and honestly with people's, or authors in this case, that we deem favorite authors. I just don't think we're capable of it. I know there are a few people that, will break that norm, will shatter that norm, but I don't think we're capable of it. I really, really don't. And that's not to say that you're a horrible person or I'm a horrible person, because we can't do that. This is me making you aware of it, but also reminding myself that I need to constantly be aware of it too, because you guys know how much I love certain authors. I talk about them all the time. That's how I actually got a lot of you here because my love for certain authors, and I still have love for those authors, but I don't want to say this person is my favorite author, because then what happens is when that author does something that I don't like, or I deem offensive, or I deem incorrect, or I deem harmful, and I call them out on it, I don't want to feel bad that I have to call them out on it. I don't want to be attacked or feel like I'm going to be attacked. I don't quite care if I'm attacked because whatever. But I don't want to feel like that I can't go to that author and say, hey, on page 276 of this book you wrote, you said this line and it didn't sit well with me. I feel like this is really offensive to a certain group of people, and here's why. I want that to be received with humility, and I'm saying it with all the love in the world because I respect the author, I respect the book, I respect the process. But this content, there's a problem that I have with this content. There's a problem that multiple people have with this content. And if you're going to continue writing for people to consume this content, you need to know that this is an issue. And I feel like it's hard for us to be able to do that in a really authentic way. Now, I'm not an attacker. I don't attack people. I don't subtweet people most of the time. I don't try and start and pick fights with people. One, I don't have the energy. I'm not trying to have you consistently come at me, because what I'm going to do is just shut down and not deal with you, because it's not my job to educate you on why this is an issue. I don't have to do it. You can use your Googles and do it yourself. What I can do is bring it to your attention. But in saying that, like I said, I don't attack people, but I'm very direct. I'm very honest. I'm very open. I'm very, look, this was trash, and you know it was trash. Why did you do it? Get it together. You're better than that. And that, I think, is a lot of that. That's the real crux of this, or the real core of this. We are better than this. As bloggers, as booktubers, as authors, as individuals, we are better than this. And I'm not seeing that better right now. I'm seeing a bunch of bullshit. And 2017, 18, 19, and 20 are going to be really telling years for America, for North America, United States of America. I'm sorry, Canada. You didn't do this. For the US, for the book industry, for media, everything. These next 4 years are going to be interesting. Very, very interesting. I pledge to do a lot better than what I've been doing. I am doing a lot better than when I started. I am sparking conversation. I am being more honest. I'm critiquing, problems that I see. I am aligning myself with people that challenge me, that help me grow, that are different than me, but that also think like I do. And I'm not quiet anymore. Not that I was ever quiet, but I will always say this. Your platform is a reflection of who you are as an individual. You are responsible for the content you put out, for the material that you put out, the things you say, the things you do, the people you surround yourself with. That is what you can control. That is what I can control on this platform, and that is what I aim to control. So, all of that to say, I am no longer aligning myself with people, not that I ever did, but I'm making the conscious effort not to align myself with people who are damaging to not only my spirit, my emotions, my mentality, but also to my reputation. And that's not to say I will no longer engage with these people, but it changes how I interact. It changes how intimate I become with people. It changes a lot of things, and that's okay. It's healthy. It's healthy to set those boundaries, and I encourage you guys to do that too. With these upcoming months, guys, upcoming years, it's so important to make sure that you're surrounding yourselves with an army of love, an army of tough love, because you want to make sure that people can tell you when you're being an ass. But it's so important to surround yourself with the right people. So I really encourage you to think about who you are as an individual, where you stand on things. Who are you aligning yourself with? Are you going to start publicly engaging with growing and learning and understanding and listening? That is the key in all of this. Really listening to people that differ from you. It's going to be a long, long road. That's all I got in me today, guys. That's what's been going on in my brain for the past week or so. A lot happening in the dome. And yeah, a lot happening. But just know that as long as I'm breathing, I'm not going anywhere. I will still have this channel. This channel is mine. I can say what I want on it, do what I want. And I hope this is a place where you feel like you can come here to gain a different perspective, learn something new. Feel free to share things with me, because that's what this is about. Before I go, I just noticed that I am less than 200 subscribers away from hitting a full-on 7,000 on this channel. And I've been on this channel for 4.5 years, and it has taken me longer than many to get here, but I'm really excited about it, and I would love it. And this is so, I never ask this, and you know that I don't, but I would love it if you would share my channel and or this video with people and implore them to give me a looky-loo so I can get that number up to 7, because that would be pretty cool. Just a small request. Feel free to ignore it. But yeah, so that's it, guys. Those are my rambles for the day, and my phone just vibrated, which means it's time for me to do something. I don't know. Thumbs up this video if you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more videos from me. Comment down below with your thoughts on my Twitter ramblings today. Make sure you are following me on Twitter. Did I link it? It's linked down below in the description box. So yeah, I'll get out of here. I'll see you guys later. Bye.